So hi guys, mayong adlaw. Welcome to NatzMath TV. Welcome to our 12th episode of this basic math review series for all students and those who are going to take the civil service exams. So we will start with these examples. Alice opened a savings account earning an interest rate of 3% per annum. After 3 years, the account earned an interest of 1,550 pesos. How much was the initial amount deposited from the start? A. 17,222.22 pesos. B. 10,265.78 pesos. C. 15,362.54 pesos. D. 8,198.78 pesos. So in this problem, this is an example of a simple interest problem. Simple interest since we are given the rate, the time, and the interest. Or since this is a problem on simple interest, so we will be using this formula I equals PRT. Means the interest is equal to the principal times the rate times the time. But we will have to do some manipulation in this problem because we are to find principal. So first things first is to identify the given. So first is we are given the rate. Of course, we are given 3%. And we need to change 3% to decimal, that is 0.03. Then afterwards, we have the years or the time. We have 3 years. So our T is 3 years. And of course, our interest is 1,550 pesos. And we are told to find the principal. So to find the principal, we using this formula, we manipulate this formula. So we have to divide both sides of the equation in this formula by RT so that we can solve for the principal. So in this case, we can cancel out the RT, this side of the equation. So for the formula for this problem, we will be using the principal equals the interest over the rate times time. So we have this solution. So this becomes P equals I over RT. This is now the formula that we need to use to solve for the principal, and we need to plug in or substitute this given to the formula. So we have our I or the interest is 1,550. Then the rate is 0.03. So we have here the R times our time is 3 or the 3 years. Then we simplify, we multiply first the denominator. So we copy the numerator, 1,550. Then 0.03 times 3 is 0.09. Then by using a calculator, we can divide 1,550 divided by 0.09. Of course, this will be equal to 17,222.22 pesos. So this is now the principal or the initial amount that Alice deposited during the time she opened her savings account. So therefore, the correct answer is letter A, 17,222.22 pesos. Now let us proceed to another example. So we have here, refer to the illustration below. So this is our illustration. We need to find the measure of angle BAC. So we have this angle BAC. If point A, here is our point A, is the center of the circle. So point A is the center of the circle, and points B and C are on the circle. So that means point B and C lies on the circle. So this time again, we are told to find the measure of angle BAC. That means this angle here. So what is the measure of this angle? And given the measure of this intercepted arc is 75 degrees. That means arc BC is 75 degrees. So letter A, 37.5 degrees. Letter B, 150 degrees. Letter C, 75 degrees. Letter D, 200 degrees. Again, what is the measure of this angle if the intercepted arc BC is 75 degrees? So this is what we call the intercepted arc. And since A is the center of the circle, so that means angle BAC is what we call a central angle. With arc BC is what we call the intercepted arc. So therefore, the definition, according to the definition of central angle and intercepted arc, the measure of the central angle is just equal or congruent. Meaning, when we say congruent, they are equal to the measure of the intercepted arc. So, since angle BAC is a central angle, because point A is the center of the circle, so angle BAC is the central angle, and the measure of arc or intercepted arc BC is 75 degrees. That means the measure of the intercepted arc and the central angle are equal. So therefore, the measure of central angle BAC is also 75 degrees. So again, the intercepted arc is 75 degrees and this is congruent to the central angle. So therefore, the correct answer is letter C. That is 75 degrees. Next example. Perform the operation square root of 50 plus the square root of 162. So this is now operation on radicals. In this case, we have addition of radicals. So A, 10 square root of 3. B, 9 square root of 3. C, 14 square root of 2. D, 5 square root of 2. Now for the solution, square root of 50 plus the square root of 162. So how do we add radicals? In adding radicals, we have to take note, we have to remember that we cannot add radicals if they do not have the same radicand. When we say radicand, these are the quantities or the values under the radical symbol. So in this case, we have 50 as the radicand and 162 as the radicand. So obviously, in this example, the radicands are dissimilar. So meaning, we cannot add square root of 50 plus the square root of 162. But we can do something in order for us to have a similar radicand. So what do we need to do? What we need to do here is just simply factor out each radicand. When we factor out 50, we can factor out 50 as 25 times 2. Okay? 25 times 2 is 50 and 25 is a perfect square. Then for 162, we can factor out 162 using 81 times 2, and 81 is a perfect square. So in this case, we now have the 2 and 2 here, which is similar. Then we can extract the square root of 25, which is 5. So the square root of 25 is 5, and place the answer outside the radical symbol because we have already extracted the square root. So square root of 25 is of course 5. And what shall remain in the radicand this time is 2. And since 2 is not a perfect square, so it shall remain as the square root of 2. The same happens for the second radicand. So the square root of 81 is 9. So we place 9 outside the radical symbol. And what remains in the radicand is the square root of 2. So this time we have the square root of 2 and square root of 2. They are now similar radicals. So we can now add the numerical coefficient. This time we have 5 and 9. So 5 plus 9 is 14. So therefore the correct answer is 14 square root of 2. We just simply copy the common radicals, which is the square root of 2. So therefore the correct answer is letter C. Okay, so before I go, please try these examples. Find the amount deposited if an account earned a simple interest of 2,500 pesos at a rate of 2.5% within 5 years. A, 10,500 pesos. B, 15,500 pesos. C, 18,000 pesos. D, 20,000 pesos. Number 2, refer to the illustration below. So this is our illustration. Find the measure of arc BC. So this arc is missing. The measure of this arc is missing. If point A is the center of the circle and points B and C are on the circle. So in this example, the measure of our central angle BAC is 35 degrees. So A, 50.5 degrees. B, 17.5 degrees. C, 75 degrees. D, 70 degrees. Then last, perform the operation square root of 12 plus the square root of 75. Say A, 7 square root of 3. B, 9 square root of 3. C, 4 square root of 2. D, 5 square root of 2. Okay, so that's it. I hope you have learned something from this video. Please do not forget to subscribe and share to your friends, especially those who are ALS students and those who are going to take the civil service exams. So for now, thank you and God bless.